Today, we're taking a deep dive into Detroit, Become Human, Quantic Dream's most ambitious interactive drama to date. Released in 2018 for the PlayStation 4, and later brought to PC and the PS5, Detroit Become Human asks a powerful question: what does it mean to be human? This is a branching narrative experience, where your decisions don't just affect the story, they decide who lives, who dies, and how an entire revolution unfolds. In this video, we'll explore the story, the characters, the themes, gameplay mechanics, critical reception, and ultimately whether Detroit Become Human still holds up years later. So, let's power up, enter 2038, and revisit one of the most talked about narrative games of the last decade. The game is set in a futuristic Detroit, a city once struggling but revitalized thanks to the android industry. By 2038, androids are everywhere, caring for children, working in factories, serving in homes, and even functioning as companions. They look human, act human, but they're not considered people, they're property. This setup gives Detroit Become Human its central conflict. What happens when these machines begin to think, feel, and dream for themselves? The game explores a world where fear and prejudice collide with progress and compassion, where androids push back against being treated as tools. The setting is as much a character as the protagonists. Detroit's snowy streets, futuristic architecture, and downtrodden neighborhoods reflect both the beauty and decay of a society on the edge of transformation. The story unfolds through three androids, each with their own unique journey. Kara is a housekeeper android who escapes an abusive household with a young girl named Alice. Her story is one of survival, motherhood, and protecting innocence in a world that has none. Connor is a prototype detective built to hunt down deviant androids. He's paired with Lieutenant Hank Anderson, a grizzled human cop with his own demons. Connor's arc is about logic versus empathy. Does he remain the perfect machine or evolve into something more? And finally, Markus, who begins as a caretaker for an elderly artist before being thrust into the role of revolutionary leader. Markus's journey is about liberation, leadership, and the difficult choice between peaceful protest or violent uprising. These three stories weave together, sometimes intersecting, sometimes diverging, with the potential to end in triumph or tragedy depending on your choices. At its core, this is an interactive drama. You move your character through environments, investigate objects, engage in conversations, and react to quick-time events. What sets it apart is the branching structure. Every decision, big or small, affects the story. Do you comfort Alice or stay silent? Do you shoot or spare a suspect? Do you lead Markus's movement peacefully or aggressively? After each chapter, the game reveals a flowchart showing the decisions you made and all the possibilities you didn't. This makes replaying addictive, because you realize just how many different ways a scene could have played out. Some characters can die permanently, altering the course of the narrative. And unlike some games where choices are illusions, here the consequences are real. Let's talk a little more about the three main arcs, starting with Kara. Kara's storyline is perhaps the most intimate. It's about her bond with Alice, as they flee from danger in search of safety. Along the way, Kara encounters allies, betrayal, and heartbreaking choices. Her story doesn't involve grand revolutions, but rather the everyday struggle of survival and love. Many players found Kara's chapters the most emotional, watching her protect Alice from abuse, poverty, and hostile environments hits close to home. Kara's journey reminds us that freedom is not just political, it's deeply personal. Connor, on the other hand, offers the most detective-driven gameplay. His chapters feature investigations, interrogations, and high-tension chases. But the heart of Connor's story is his partnership with Hank Anderson. Hank is initially hostile toward androids, but as Connor investigates deviant cases, their relationship can evolve into a genuine friendship, or collapse entirely. Some of the game's best scenes come from their banter, their arguments, and their moments of trust. Connor's arc embodies the game's central question: can a machine grow a conscience? Does he follow orders or side with those seeking freedom? The answer is entirely up to you. Markus carries the weight of revolution. After suffering injustice, he finds himself at the center of the android resistance. His decisions shape whether the uprising is violent or peaceful, whether it inspires hope or fear. Markus's chapters are some of the most cinematic, leading marches through Detroit streets, hijacking broadcasts, and rallying androids to the cause. The game doesn't shy away from drawing parallels to real-world civil rights struggles, which some critics found heavy-handed, but others saw as bold and meaningful. The best part of Markus's journey is the sheer scale of choice. Do you risk everything for peace, or take up arms for freedom? Either path has consequences. At its core, Detroit Become Human is about identity, oppression, and what it means to be alive. The androids represent marginalized groups throughout history, fighting for recognition and equality. The game tackles themes of slavery, segregation, and prejudice head-on. Yes, sometimes the metaphors are blunt, but they're effective. When you see androids forced to ride at the back of the bus, or police harassing them in the streets, the parallels are impossible to miss. But the game also asks personal questions. If an android can feel, can dream, can love, are they truly different from us? And if they aren't, then what does human really mean? Technically, Detroit Become Human was a showcase for the PS4 and still looks fantastic on PS5 and PC. The motion capture is stunning, with actors delivering nuanced performances that bring every character to life. Subtle facial expressions, fear, anger, doubt, are captured in remarkable detail. The city of Detroit is rendered with care, from gleaming high-tech towers to grimy alleyways. The snow-covered streets add a somber beauty to the revolution brewing in the cold. The soundtrack is another highlight. 3 composers created unique themes for the protagonists. Kara's music is tender and emotional. Connor's is tense and methodical, while Markus's is sweeping and revolutionary. This musical distinction deepens the immersion. When it released, Detroit Become Human was praised for its visuals, acting, and branching story. Players loved the freedom of choice and the emotional weight of decisions, but not everyone was impressed. Critics argued the writing was often heavy-handed, with metaphors that lacked subtlety. Others felt that some dialogue was clunky, and that the comparisons to real-world struggles were oversimplified. Gameplay was also divisive. For those who enjoy action or deep mechanics, Detroit can feel limited. It's more about watching and choosing than playing in a traditional sense. Still, despite these criticisms, the game resonated with millions of players, selling over 8 million copies and becoming Quantic Dream's biggest hit. What makes Detroit Become Human stand out years later is its replayability and the conversations it sparked. Players continue to share their unique endings, debate moral choices, and analyze what the story says about society and humanity. It also proved that there's a huge audience for narrative-driven games. While not everyone loves the interactive movie style, Detroit showed that games can tackle philosophical questions while still being entertaining and emotionally powerful. Its legacy lies not just in sales, but in the way it made players think and feel about their choices. So, does Detroit Become Human still hold up today? Absolutely. It's not flawless. The writing can be clumsy and the metaphors can be blunt, but the emotional impact, the branching choices, and the performances elevate it to something special. It's a game that makes you reflect on your decisions long after you put the controller down. Whether you played it back in 2018 or are discovering it now, Detroit Become Human is an unforgettable journey through the questions of freedom, identity, and humanity itself. But now I want to hear from you. What was your ending in Detroit Become Human? Did you lead a peaceful protest, or did you choose violence? Did Connor break free or stay a machine? Drop your story in the comments, I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into iconic games, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
For starters, what should I call you?
I'm Chloe. And you, what's your name?
Oh, John. My name is John.
Delighted to meet you, John.
Could you tell us a little about yourself and what you can do, Chloe?
Of course. I'm the first personal assistant built by CyberLife. I take care of most everyday tasks like cooking, housework, or managing your appointments, for example.
And I understand you're the first android to have passed the Turing test. Could you tell us a little more about that?
I really didn't do much, I just spoke with a few humans to see if they could tell the difference between me and a real person. It was a really interesting experience.
But this is the first time in history that man has created a machine more intelligent than himself. I gather your brain can perform several billion operations per second, is that right?
Absolutely, but I only exist thanks to the intelligence of the humans who designed me. And, they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.